Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video we're going to play around with materials. Materials are going to drastically make our models look a whole lot better. Now, some of you may have already played around with materials before. In this video I'm going to explain the proper way to use materials in your model and some of the differences in how we apply them. So essentially a material is just a color or a texture that you can apply to a face in SketchUp using the paint bucket tool. So I'm going to grab my paint bucket tool here so I have that selected. And let's say I just want to apply this yellow texture to this face here. I can just go ahead and click it, and now notice that everything within that face, or every face that I had selected, gets applied. Now, there's a reason why it applied to all of this stuff. And the reason is because this is a part of a group. If I were to select that, notice that that entire building area is selected as a group. So let's say I didn't want to do that. I'm going to undo that change. Let's say I only wanted to apply it to this face within the group. All I have to do is double click inside my group, select that face, and then I can apply it. This is going to be helpful because we want to imply some, maybe some like a siding texture to the side here, but maybe we don't want to apply the siding to the inside of our house. So I'm going to go ahead and select, let's find some siding materials. Now for materials over here, you have your basic materials that you can use, but you can also click on this button here, which will take you to the library of materials that exist. I'm going to choose brick, cladding, and siding. And notice that these are all, basically they're images, they're photographs. We can use any of these in our model, or we can go find our own and import those textures, which we may do. I may show you how to do that later. Let's grab this siding material and let's apply it here to that face. Let's apply it to this face. We'll go here and we'll go here. Okay, cool. Now, notice that it only applied to those four faces. It did not apply that material to the inside of the house. So that's exactly what we wanted. Okay, perfect. Now, I'm noticing kind of an issue here. The siding is just a bit, I don't know, it's a bit big. I want to probably bring that down a bit. So if I switch over to this house tab, which basically means anything that we have inside of our project now, or any material we have in our model, I can click on that material that I just selected, and I can actually go into edit mode, which will allow me to edit this material specifically, and I can actually bring it down a bit. So the width and height are going to change how much this repeats inside the model. So if I do 2, oh, it just kind of made everything go away. Let's do 3 and see if that helps. No, let's do 5. Okay, now we're seeing some increase. So I want, 5 inches, I see. So let's make this repeat every 1 foot, or 12 inches. Let's do that. Okay, that looks a little better. I kind of like that. And now with that change, let's click done here. Now with that change applied, whenever I apply this texture to another face, it keeps those settings that I applied. Okay, cool. So that's kind of how you can edit a texture. Let's talk about how to edit the, let's make a glass texture, right? So we have this window that's just kind of open. I actually want to create a glass pane that, that has a texture applied to it. So I'm going to bring this here. That looks pretty good. I actually probably want it to be in here just a bit. Let me grab my move tool and let's move that. Whatever, that's fine. I'll keep that there. Let's apply the texture to it. So if I go over here and I go to, let's go to glass and mirrors, I have a bunch of options here. I'm just going to choose this blue one and apply it to that. So now notice that my texture, or my material that I've applied to that window, is transparent, or better said, translucent, meaning I can see through it, right? There, light can get through. Now, if I wanted to do double paned glass, I can put another pane here on the outside, which is probably something I would want to do. But you can also apply, or you can also change the transparency so that maybe that's too see-through. Maybe you want to increase it so that it's harder to see through your windows. You can change the opacity here as well. Let's click done. Okay, perfect. And let's see, let's apply a material to this roof. So I'll come back over here. Let's find the, let's see, landscape fencing and vegetation. No, maybe not that. Where are, I have stone, metal. I know I have those options in there somewhere. Asphalt and concrete, maybe? No. There is a roofing texture somewhere. Colors, metal, patterns. There's all, look at all these materials we have. Oh, roofing right there. I was just overlooking it. So then we can choose a roofing that looks good and just apply it to our model just by clicking, right? It's really that easy. And again, we can edit this so that, let's say we wanted to use a different texture, right? Maybe this roofing texture is something that I don't really like. I can click on it, edit my material, and I can actually change it to a different texture. Now, I don't have any textures downloaded, but if I did, I can just go ahead and drop them in here, and then it would update that to the new texture. Okay, and remember, I can change the name, I can change the color of it. So if I want it to be like maybe a lighter texture or whatnot, I can do that as well. I'm going to cancel. Okay, so those are some of the things we can do with textures. We can also go in and edit the interior. Let me zoom all the way in. Come on. All right, there we go. So let's say we want to edit the interior of our house here. We can edit the wall textures with just basic colors if we'd like. So let me go back here. Let's find a wall texture that we like. Just say like a color. Let's do this kind of like purplish blue. Now notice again, it applied it to the entire group, which is fine. Oh, come on. It's fine for our it's fine for the walls, but let's say our ceiling, we want to apply a different, maybe a white texture for our ceiling. If we double click, okay, so now we just have that selected. Let's apply this kind of lighter texture to the ceiling. Did that work? Did I select the same one? Anyway, we can also do the same with the floor. So we can grab this. I wasn't inside the group, that's why. And let's go to carpet. Let's go ahead and paint that carpet texture on there. Okay, now we have carpet. We have walls. Okay, looking good. All right, that purple's a weird color, but just bear with me. Okay, now we can apply grass textures as well. Let's go ahead and apply a grass. First, we need a face to which we can apply the material, right? Materials will not apply to anything that's not a face, right? It has to be a face. So I'm going to draw just a square underneath. Now notice that it's kind of bleeding through our material here. But let's go ahead and grab a grass texture. I like this light one, and we'll just drop it right in. Now we're having interference issues with our model here. If we just bump it up just a little bit, it's not going to let me move it. I've got to select the move tool. If we bump it up just a tad bit, it's trying to snap in, which isn't working. But we can see that if we bump it up, then our faces aren't interacting with each other. So maybe instead of bumping that up, I'd actually just want to bump this down just a tad bit. Or we can just leave it alone. That's fine. We get the idea. Oh, hello. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I see. Because those are locked into that face, it's dragging those with it. That's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, you might have some interference issues with your textures here kind of blending into each other. But, oh, hello. But that's okay. We kind of get the idea. All right, so I have a cool grass texture, which again, I can modify. I can change that if I'd like. Let's talk about how to add some fencing. So I'm going to create a, let's create a, just a rectangle here. And we'll add a fence material to it. So if I were to just add that material, notice that it doesn't exactly fit, right? There's supposed to be this like swoopy thing here, and it doesn't really fit in my model. So what I can do to make this texture work properly, I can right click and I can go to texture and position. Now this looks probably a bit scary, but it's actually an easy way to edit your textures. This red here, notice we have these 4 pins here. We have red, green, yellow, and blue. This red pin will let you move, your texture. If you click and drag, you can move your texture. And this green pin will let you scale your texture. So I'm going to scale it down so that I can get that swoopy in there. And then if we hit enter, notice that now we have made it so that our fence actually has the texture applied properly, right? And so we can do that with pretty much any texture in here. We can actually modify it using those settings as well. Okay, cool. Now the last thing I want to show you is a way to quickly add objects to your scene that you actually haven't built. So we've been working in the materials section, but let's say I want to bring in new components that someone else has created. Like, let's say, for example, I want, like, I don't know, a barbecue grill out here on the side yard. I'm going to go here and I'm just going to type barbecue. All right, so now we have a bunch of these 3D models that someone else has created for us. I like this one. I'm going to drag that in. I'm just going to click on it, and it has dragged it into our scene. I'm going to do that. Let's rotate it around using the rotation tool. I want to rotate it on that face. Hello. Nope, I don't want to rotate it on that face. Where is it? Bring that in. Okay. Put it right there. And the rotation tool again. I want to rotate it on... Nope. I don't want to rotate it there. I want to rotate it on... Let's see if I can lock it. Yeah, there we go. I want to rotate it on that face. Come on. Why is it rotating like... Oh, I see. I see why. Rotation is fun. All right. Rotate it like normal. Let's look at it from the top view. That's probably the easiest way to do what I'm trying to do. Sometimes these tools can be a bit finicky. Hello. There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. Just want to rotate it around. Okay, good. Now I'm going to grab my move tool and I'm going to move it over up next to the house, right? Which is not really safe. You don't want to have barbecue grills right up against your house. But you guys get the idea. Hold on, my dog wants out. There you go, bud. All right. So now we have a barbecue grill. And notice I did not have to create that model. All I did was I searched for it and I just brought it into my scene, right? So that's a quick way for you to decorate your projects. You can go in here to the interior of your thing. You can add couches and stoves and refrigerators, whatever you want. Oh, we even have steaks and some burgers on our Oh, that's nice. Look at that. That's a pretty good model. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. Go in there and apply some models, apply some materials, kind of decorate your house to make it look as cool as you possibly can. All right, cool. That's pretty much it. And hopefully this has been fun and interesting, and you've learned some new stuff. And I will see you next time. All right, bye.